In the last video, we talked about how the body can end up carrying what we were never given space to feel. And today I wanted to talk about some emotional styles that we developed throughout the years in order to understand why do so many of us find it so hard to actually feel emotions. Before we dig there, you may have heard of the IQ or the cognitive intelligence, which measures the cognitive and analytical abilities like logic, problem solving, and memory. And the IQ usually it get to its peak by the age of 18 or early 20s. But there is another kind of intelligence, which is the emotional intelligence or the EQ. And the emotional intelligence represents a person's ability to understand and manage their own emotions and identify and relate to the emotions of others. And unlike the IQ, the EQ can be developed at any age, no matter what you've been through. But most of us were never taught how to develop it. Instead, we developed something else. We developed like strategies for not feeling, ways of disconnecting from ourselves, often without realizing that we were doing it. And today I want to share 6 of those strategies based on the work of Dr. Alex Howard, whose framework I find incredibly helpful in understanding this. And as we go through them, notice which ones feel familiar. Most of us use more than one. If you are new to my channel, my name is Dr. Selma. I'm a former NHS doctor who currently support women with chronic unexplained symptoms. Welcome to my channel. So what are the 6 styles or ways we learned to disconnect from ourselves? So the first one is avoidance and distraction. And this is keeping yourself so busy that there is no space left to feel. Maybe your TV is always on, your schedule is always full, you're always scrolling up and down with your phone. And stillness does not feel safe for you. So you will always find something to do just to keep away from being still, because stillness feels unsafe. The second one is state changing. And this is using something external to change how you feel from the inside. For example, food, exercise, shopping, maybe sleep, some people alcohol or drugs. And those external things become the way you manage every difficult emotion. But the reality is that through doing that, we're not processing what we feel. We are just changing the channel. The third one is analysis. And this one is very common in people who are naturally intelligent and self-aware. So instead of feeling the emotion, we think about the emotion. We analyze it. We try to understand it from the outside. But there is a difference between understanding your emotions and feelings and actually feeling them. The fourth one is blaming others. When we find it hard to own what we are feeling, sometimes we place it outside ourselves and we start blaming others. They made me feel this way. If they hadn't done that, I wouldn't feel like this. And sometimes it's true, other people do hurt us sometimes. But when the blame becomes our default, it keeps us away from ever asking what we actually need and what are we actually feeling. The fifth one is the empath style. And this one is about tuning into everyone else's feelings. And that becomes with time as a way of avoiding our own. We become so focused on what others are feeling, so busy managing, soothing, and absorbing emotions around us, that we lose touch with what is actually happening inside us. It can feel like compassion, and it is, but sometimes it's also a way of not having to feel what's happening inside us and to feel what's ours. The sixth one is somatization. Somatizing is when emotional pain gets experienced as a physical symptoms. For example, you feel anger and it might shows up as a headache or back pain or tension that never seems to release. And this isn't a weakness or an imagination. It happens when emotions have nowhere else to go, because emotions have to go somewhere. And if they can't come out through the voice, they come out through the body. And the language of the body is symptoms. If you recognize yourself in several of those, please hear this. These aren't character flaws, they are strategies your nervous system developed to keep you safe. And often from a very young age, they worked at some point, but sometimes they get to the point where it's not working. And this is when the body starts screaming with symptoms and signals trying to get our attention that something needs to be addressed. And the reason this is important is that every time we use one of these strategies, instead of feeling, we add a little more to what the body is already carrying. And this is why it's important to know about your emotional style. And in the next video, we are going to start talking about what it actually looks like developing emotional intelligence, or specifically how to feel our emotions. And it's never through forcing yourself to feel everything at once, but by learning slowly that it is safe to feel. If you are a woman struggling with chronic unexplained symptoms or conditions like MECFS, fibromyalgia, tension, headache, IBS, I've created a guide called When Your Tests Are Normal But Your Body Says Otherwise. It's a guide that I wished I had when I was struggling with my chronic unexplained symptoms. It will help you understand what's happening in your body, the energy leaks, and the patterns that keep you stuck. And you can find a link in the video below. Subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos, and I will see you there.